Hi, I'm Don Blackwell. I am the Executive Director of the Gospel Broadcasting Network. Welcome to this episode of Truth on Wheels. Sometimes people ask me, how do you exercise? Since my accident, I am a T6 complete paraplegic. I'm paralyzed from about here down, and so I can't move my body. Exercising is very difficult, and so I can exercise my arms, but I'm limited on what I can do. One of the things that I have that is one of my best tools for exercising is a chair called a Freedom Chair. This was purchased for me by some of my family, and I'm going to show you what is involved in this. It's a difficult process, and I'm going to show you how I transfer into this chair. And it's not going to be graceful, but I want you to appreciate the whole process. So if you'll just bear with me a minute, I'm going to make the transfer. One of the things that is difficult about transferring is you have to get from one seat to the other, and you have to get over the large tires, and that is a difficult thing when you can't move your body. And so I've learned if I can kind of get out in front of the tire, that helps. And then I've got to pick up my legs. When I pick up my legs, they have a tendency sometimes to spasm, and so I've got to move them and just kind of let them sit there for a minute. And then try to transfer myself. And my body goes into spasms there. Okay. All right, now I can start to position my legs better. And then I can move my chair out of the way. Once I get onto this chair, I've got to strap you can see my legs are going into spasm mode here. Once I get into this chair and my muscles calm down, I have to strap my feet so that they won't fall off and so that they won't drag that front wheel. And so this is a little bit difficult to do. Oftentimes Sherry will help me with this, but today she's holding the camera for me. So then I have to strap my legs together because they won't hold up either. So I've added these straps that are just Velcro straps. And I pull my legs together and I Velcro that down. Now this chair is very interesting the way it works because it is actually propelled with your arms, and that's one of the great things for exercising is that you pump it with your arms, and so it allows me to exercise my arms in a way that's difficult for me otherwise. So one of the things that I have to do is also have to strap my chest down so that I don't fall when I'm going down a hill. So I have this strap. And I take this, it's actually wrapped around the seat in the back. And I buckle myself that way. So once I'm strapped in, I've got these handles. And these handles are set up to propel it. I've got to position it so that I can fit them into the slots, which means I have to roll forward until I can get it in there. All right, and once I get them actually in position, I'm able to roll. And they actually also operate as the brakes. Sherry, you want to come around out here so you can get me from a distance? And the way you function is you press forward, so it's a good tricep exercise, and each one operates independently. And the brakes are very crude. It actually, the brake is as simple as pulling back, and it's got this metal piece that actually drags the tire. And so it's a process where you push. I've got to stop for a second because I can hear my foot dragging on the front tire. Okay. And it does have a brake on it so that you can lock it. And then it is simple as just pressing it. And then I can pull back on this to stop. And if I want to turn, I would push one and not the other. It sticks out in the front, which gives you a little more balance. But if I push hard, you can see that it will pop up. I actually, one time going up the driveway, I pushed it too hard and flipped it over and got myself hung there on the driveway. So I'm actually going to go down the road and let you appreciate what this is like so that you can see me exercising. All right, when I'm going down the hill, I have a rather steep driveway. I have to be very careful. And sometimes if the hill is too steep, I have to go back and forth so that I can cut the slope a little bit. Now the whole process involves, once I get out into the road, it is as simple as just pumping it, and that is a little bit challenging to do, but I'm just going to let you go along on the journey a little bit and see what's involved. All right, when I am exercising, you can see what this would look like. And it is a little bit challenging, particularly as I start to go up the hill. It gets very, very difficult. And the further you reach, the more torque you can get. And so you can kind of adjust the difficulty level by grabbing higher or lower on the rods. This is starting to get more difficult as we're going up the hill.
Doing good.
Thank you, thank you. We didn't mean to get you in the video here. Hope you don't mind.
Do what?
We're filming a video here, so I hope you don't mind that you ended up in it.
I'm not in the way, am I?
No, no.
You have a good day, a blessed day.
Thank you. By this point, I'm really starting to feel the burn in my arms. This is very difficult going up the hill. I can grab higher and make it easier, but you don't get as long of a stroke. If I grab lower, I can get a greater stroke, but it's much harder to push. And when I'm really getting exercise, I'll go around the whole neighborhood. I need to do this more often. I'd be in better shape than I am. But I'm like everybody else. Nobody wants to do this. All right, I am going to go back down the hill, and I'm just going to let you see what that involves. It is much easier to go because basically I just ride. I've changed the camera position and let you ride down the hill with me and see it from my point of view. It's unfortunate that my neighbor decided to cut the grass at this time, but we will press ahead. You can see I can get to go pretty fast. Here's my dad outside cleaning the yard. Okay. Now I am back at the yard and I've got to start the trek back up the hill, which is very, very difficult for me. And so Sherry is actually behind me helping me. I have learned that if I push it too hard, it will flip over backwards, which has happened to me once, and flipped over and hung there and was trapped, and actually had to get somebody to come and help me. So now when I come up this hill, I get someone to assist me. Really, really get the burn when I'm doing this. It's really challenging, but it's really great exercise. All right, I'm back in the garage, and so I take out the handles and put those back in the slots. And I really haven't made this look neat. I wanted you to see how awkward and ungraceful the whole process is. And once I get back, I will unstrap my legs and release the chest strap. Take my feet loose. And then I am ready to get back in my wheelchair. And by this point, I'm exhausted and panting. And pick one leg up and put it over. Swing the arm around so that I can get in. And then the challenge is to get over this wheel and over this chair, which doesn't seem like much, but when you're paralyzed and pulling dead weight, it's actually pretty challenging for me. All right, once I am back in my wheelchair again, I can move on back like I would as normal. So that is the process of what's involved in getting some exercise. 1 Timothy 4 and verse 8 says, "For bodily exercise profits a little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having the promise of the life that now is and that which is to come." I've sometimes heard people use this passage to downplay the importance of physical exercise, but I don't think that's the point. The point that Paul is making is comparatively speaking, that is, comparing physical to spiritual, physical exercise is of little importance. Because notice what he goes on to say, godliness has the promise of the life that is now and of that which is to come. That is, a person could train his physical body, he could eat right, he could exercise, he could make those things a priority in his life, but it's going to be very temporary. I saw something online recently about Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was at one time considered to be perhaps the best physical condition of any man on the planet. He's 76 years old now, and his body isn't the same. You know, some people spend huge amounts of time exercising. They spend huge amounts of money on supplements and eating right. They exert a tremendous amount of energy taking care of their physical bodies, but at the best, it's only going to last a few years. James chapter 4 and verse 14 says, "Whereas you do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away." That is, James is saying, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. In 2019, I had started a rigorous workout routine. I worked out every single day from January the 1st until May the 6th. I had lost weight. I had built muscle. I was in the best shape I had been in a long time. In fact, everyone in my family has Apple Watches, and so we would compete against each other, and I would win almost every day because I was that intense and that determined. But on May the 6th, I broke my back, and my strong body immediately became a lame body. When I filmed this video, I went back and watched the footage, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to show myself transferring because, you know, it's not graceful. It shows how feeble and broken my body is. But then I determined that's the point. It's not about the body. You know, one day I'm going to get a new body, and I am looking forward to that. 1 Corinthians 15:44 describes the resurrected body in contrast to our present bodies. It says, "The body is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body." Now, there's a lot to unpack there, but let's break this down. The resurrected body will be incorruptible. Friends, our current bodies are subject to death. They get old, they wear out. The new body is not going to be like that. It's going to last forever. It will not get old. The resurrected body is going to be glorious. Our present bodies, if we would be honest, have many things that are not glorious, things that are lowly and vile. The resurrected body is going to be raised in power. Our current bodies get tired. They are inherently weak. They have to rest. They break. Not so with the resurrected body. You know, in just about every funeral that I have ever done, I have mentioned Psalm 90 and verse 10, where the Bible says, "The days of our years are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years, yet their boast is only labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away." That is to say, on average, a person might live to be 70 years old. If he's strong and healthy, he might live to be 80 or beyond. But no matter how long you live, no matter how good a shape your body is in, it's going to die. And the part of you that's really you, your soul, your spirit, is going to continue on into eternity. And friends, that's why bodily exercise profits little, but godliness is profitable for all things, having promise of the life that is now and of that which is to come. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Truth on Wheels. Until next time, stay faithful.